You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line, I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line, I'll get a pole, and we'll go fishing and crawl that hole, honey, baby mine. Hello, I'm Rick Stivers of YoungMartin'sReels. Today's project is going to be this Heddon 205R high-speed reel, and it was high-speed in its day. I wouldn't call it high-speed today, but when we get it open, we'll take a look and see what the actual gear ratio is. I'd be surprised if it's much more than 3 to 1, maybe 3.5 to 1. But I bought this reel off of eBay for $1 because it didn't have a handle. And what we're going to try to do, I've got this handle that I think will work on it pretty well, but I want to, I've got to adapt this handle over to fit this thread. So this is a 6M by 1, and what we're going to do is we're going to drill this one out. I've already cleaned up the threads on this one using this tap, and we're going to drill this out and put the retap new threads in it and see if we can get it to fit on this. Okay, and then we'll tear this reel apart and see about servicing it, because it is very tight. It's got old grease in it. And this kit does not want to come open. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start off over on my drill press, and I'm not going to take you guys over there to see it, but I'm going to start off on my drill press by drilling this out. And yeah, we'll see how that works. We'll give it a shot, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, I drilled that out on the drill press, and it took most of the threads out that were in there. And that's fine, because we're going to be putting new threads in it, and I actually was hoping that it would take most of the threads out. And can this, nope, that won't come all the way out. I was hoping I could remove that all the way. So what that means is what they did on the end of the threads out here, they flared, yeah, see, they flared it right here to keep that from coming off. So that means I'll just have to deal with it the way it is. And what we've got to do is get this tap to go in nice and straight. And my tap handle isn't in here at the moment. So I will just use a pair of vice grips and hope I get it good and straight. Okay. Oh, that's why it's not starting. It's left-handed thread. Okay. Now it's starting. And I'll keep rotating around a little bit to see that it looks like it's going in straight from every angle. Okay. Okay, let's back it out, clear the threads. Let's go back and start again. Okay. Clear the threads again. Now I'm sure there's some machinist of you out there that are having a fit over this, but I'm not a machinist, so I'm a backyard mechanic kind of guy. Oh, those threads are looking really good. Okay, that appears that I've cut the threads down deep enough. Let's turn this handle around and get it on here correctly. And see if this handle will work on this reel. There we go. Okay, we now have a handle for the Heddon 205R. All right. Now that we fixed that, let's go ahead and take this thing apart and service it. Okay, we're going to start off by taking off the spool. Okay, and we'll go ahead and remove this handle. And we've got 3 screws on this side that we're going to take out. All right. Now, we'll remove this screw right here. That's holding the crosswind block. That's this piece right here to this shaft. That's the axle shaft. And we should be able to now remove the axle shaft. There we go. And remove the crosswind block. And at that point, we should be able to remove this nut. And I got the right one. Let's see here. And some of you will say, why is he putting a pair of vice grips on a nut? And that's because I'm too lazy to go over and get the ratchet. Okay, and that comes off. Then there's a keeper plate here that locks the rotor to the pinion shaft. I'll set that over here. And we should be able to take off the rotor, and we have. Okay, the rotor's in really good shape. And we got a lot of dirt and grit, but aside from that, all this is in good shape. By the way, this is not the first time that this part of this has been apart. I'm going to show you a few pictures of what this looked like inside when I first took it apart last week and exploring. Yeah, it was full of sand, and there's still a fair amount of sand. I only did a preliminary cleaning. I didn't do a full-scale cleaning. Okay, there we go. And now we've got the pinion gear out and the main bearing out. And at this point, we should be able to take out the main gear, which we have. Got the main gear out, and there is our anti-reverse. And it just needs to be cleaned up. This is very tight, and I'm assuming that's because of the old grease that's in it. So I'm going to clean up some of this. Let's go ahead and take the spool apart. Yep. Like so. Look at that. Here's a picture of what this part looked like. Okay. Okay. Now we'll take this apart because the top of it still looks kind of like the bottom did. But I was chatting with Chris the other day. There we go. That's kind of what the bottom looked like. There we go. I'll take that apart. And let's see what it will take. It doesn't look like it's going to be fun getting this ring out. It's kind of snapped down inside there, and they don't give you another relief on it anywhere. See all the sand still in it? Let's see if I can, probably not going to be happy with this, but let's see if I can slip a razor blade into it. Yeah. I managed to get a razor blade behind it. And now I should be able to grab a hold of it and remove it. Yep, there it comes. And this is the drag. So it's got one really, really thick drag washer. And that's it. Okay. I'm going to go and clean all these parts up. And when I come back, also, I'm going to take this apart. I took it apart already, but it needs to come apart one more time and get cleaned up a little bit more. So we're going to take it, clean it one more time, and see what we can do there. I wish I had this color paint. I would touch this up, but I don't have any of that color. All right, so I'll be back in a few minutes with all this cleaned up. All right, let's see if we can't start getting this thing put back together now that it's clean. Okay, we're going to start off by putting the main gear back in, and I'm going to oil the main shaft of that. Okay, and the back side of it here, we're going to grease where the anti-reverse rides. And then on the front side over here, we're going to grease the teeth on the gear. Matter of fact, we're going to grease everything over here because we're going to want the crosswind block to be riding in the center here. There is a sleeve on this pin here, so make sure not to lose that. Okay, let's go ahead and slide this in like that. Okay, and it should, the anti-reverse should work if you look. You can flip the lever, and now this will turn both directions. Flip it back the other way, and we have anti-reverse. Okay. Next thing that's going to have to go in is the pinion. And let's go ahead. It's got a little bit of wear on the gear, but not a lot. It's actually in pretty good shape for as old as it is. Let's go ahead and grease up the pinion gear. We're going to slide on the front bearing and the spacer. Okay, and let's go ahead and slide that in. And now, let's go ahead and put the bearing in first. And then we'll see about putting the pinion gear back in. Okay, there we go. I keep popping it back out by trying to hold it in place. So let's go ahead and install the retainer with its 3 screws. And it's kind of self-aligning because of this plate at the bottom. Now that plate there, not only does it self-align this plate, but it also is the trip for the bail. All right, now we're going to oil the bearing. Okay, let's give it a little bit of a turn. And let's go ahead and oil it one more time. Good. Okay, we're going to step aside for a moment and let's work on this rotor. Okay, this rotor, will take the bail wire off of the rotor first. Okay. And let's take it off on the other side. go ahead. I've got a custom-made screwdriver to fit in that curved slot. There we go. A nickel is what that's designed to fit. Okay, take that off. That off. Now we're going to come back over here and take off the side with the spring. And I took all this apart the other day and cleaned a lot of grit out of it, but I still feel it's still a little bit gritty. So we're going to come back and clean it one more time. Okay, and we're going to check this piece down here. And I'm not going to take this apart, but this was a problem for this bale. The bale would not trip all the way back. And what the cause was, this piece right here was bent out that way just a little bit, which was keeping it from being able to trip all the way back and release the bale wire. So let's go ahead and spray this down real quick. I'm going to rub every part of it down good with my acid brush and see if we can't, and then I'm going to go blow it with the compressor. See if we can't blow any grit that's left in it out. Because this reel was heavily sanded. All right, now we're ready to put this back together. Now the problem I made the other day, this rotor has got two holes in it, one on each side, and I'm trying to remember right now which hole I had to use. If you put it in the wrong side, you can't get the spring to reset on this. And I think that it's supposed to be on this side over here. There we go. So we'll find out in a minute if I've got it right or not. Okay, so I'll put this guy in and see if we've got it right. We do not. Okay, so it goes on the other side. Okay, this over here. There's a hole over here that goes into. There we go. Okay, now I'll put this over here, and that looks much better. Okay, so we'll take a screw and we will start it back in here. Just going to get it started first. Okay, then we're going to pull this back, and what we've got to do, see this shoulder over here? We've got to get this shoulder past that point right there. Once that's done, then we can start putting the screw back in the rest of the way. Okay, once we've done that, there you go, and there's your bale. Now there's nothing to lock it on this side. Usually the same side with the spring is the same side that locks. That is not the case with this reel. Okay, there's nothing over here to lock it. Okay, now we're going to put the other side back together. All right, this side is going to go on like this, and what we'll do is we'll just kind of push this down. It's not going to hurt anything, just kind of push it down. We'll align the hole, the screw in the hole, and we'll get it started over here. And bring it around until it trips there. Okay, let it trip down. It goes over here. It releases. Okay, put it in place. We're going to come back to here, and we're going to put this other side back together. All right, now we're going to want this to be oiled inside. So we'll put some oil on it. Slide the roller on. And then we're going to slip this inside like that. Okay. There's a washer that goes in here. Put that washer in. And we've got this nut that goes back on. And the key to this, getting this on, is to make sure that you don't have any over strong tension on this bell wire when you put it together. Okay. All right. Now, if we've got it right, when we trip this, there you go. And that's how that trip goes. Now, let's go ahead, and that's without oil. Okay, it trips that well without its oil. So we'll oil it here. We'll oil it here. We're going to oil it under this head. We're going to oil it under this attachment. And then we're going to come back over here, and we're going to oil this assembly. Okay, so there we go. All right. Now we're ready to start putting it all right back together. Okay. We're going to set this in place on the pinion. And now remember, we've got this locking plate right here. It's supposed to fit on this pinion shaft. And then this keyway's got to get onto it right there. See how that locks into place there? And then you put the nut on. Okay. There we go. Okay. At this point, we are ready. Let's go ahead and rotate this around and bring that to the back right there. Okay, and we're going to set this guy back in place. We're going to grease the crosswind block. Okay, sit it over top of that post like that. Then we're going to oil this shaft real well. And we're going to slide it back in. Like so. And if you look, okay, there's where the hole is. So we're going to put that screw back in. Okay, set the hole back up. And here we go. It's got a lock washer on it. And set it in place. See if we can get it started. Okay. Now, let's put the spool back together. Here's our drag washer on it. That's the lower drag washer. We got a top and a bottom. We'll go ahead and put a little bit of grease on that. Okay. We're going to put some oil on the drag clicker and a little on the spring. That'll help keep it from corroding. We'll slide that back in like that. We're going to put this felt drag washer in, and we're going to oil it. Because this one is really dry. It's a big, fat drag washer. So give it plenty of oil. Let's oil it one more time. Okay. Then goes the metal drag washer, which is keyed. Slide that in. And let's go back to the spring and see if we can get it put back in. go. It's got the spring in. And we'll put the drag knob back on. Let's go ahead and put a little oil on the trip ball. And we'll put a little inside too. And we'll put a little bit on the threads here. And let's tighten down the drag knob. All right, now I told you I was going to do something. And I'll show you the easy way to do it. One way that you can determine whether or not, or what the ratio is, gear ratio of this is you can count the number of teeth on the pinion gear, and then you can count the number of teeth on the main gear and divide one from the other, and that'll tell you what the gear ratio is. I'll show you another way to do it. We'll do that in a minute. Okay. All right, let's put the cover on. All right, that's got the side cover on. Let's put the spool back on. There we go. Check the drag. Okay, drag's working. Let's see if we can tighten it. Yes, we can. Okay, loosen it up a little bit. Okay. Oh, we got to put a handle on. And it just so happens we have a handle for it now. Okay. Trip to fail. Okay, anti-reverse. Override. There we go. Back it out just a little bit. There we go. There is the Heddon 205R high speed. Now let's determine. All right, now we're going to determine what the gear ratio is by the number of times that the rotor rotates around for the number of times that the handle turns. Okay, so let's get a good stopping point. Not now. Okay, we'll start right there. Okay, this is going to be 0 for the handle, and this will be 0 for the rotor. So let's start. We'll count the number of turns versus this one. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like about 4.6. So we're a little past the halfway point we get here. So 4.6 to 1. That's pretty good gear ratio for as old as the reel is. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like about it. And for now, that's Rick Stivers of the Young Martin's Reels with the Heddon 205R high-speed reel, signing out.